What's going on, y'all? So listen. Y'all, I just wanted to pop up on here real quick and do this little short video. No, it's not going to be a review or anything. I watched Southern Charm, New Orleans. It's a new show that comes on Bravo right after The Real Housewives. And I think this is like the fourth, fifth episode. And last week episode, the only reason why they already have the franchise Southern Charm. I don't watch it because that ain't my cup of tea. And y'all already know the reason why a lot of black people watch this one now is because it's black folks on there with that one token white folk. Let me just say this, and somebody brought up a good point. So we have Real Housewives of Atlanta who will have a token, or who not even a token, who will have that one white person or couple of white people come onto the show, and we'll have our own shows like Southern Charm, New Orleans, who will have that one white person or a couple or whatever. They're there because it was a couple of them on here that's integrated within the cast, but. When are we going to get a Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and one of the housewives is going to be a black woman and, or I can't say a Latino because they probably have had a Latino woman. Or when we going to get a Real Housewives of Orange County and one of the people be black or somebody on there of another nationality? Is they just all white? I'm just confused because I watch all of them. Same thing with the Real Housewives of New Jersey. I know with some black people up there or some color folks up there, people of color I should say, who, doing their thing. Bitch, it is hot up in here. Bitch, I've been drinking and I'm hot as shit. Moving on from that, what I really wanted to get on here and talk about is this whole F word thing. And the F word, for those that don't know, is faggot. And it's been sitting on my heart because I don't review this show. I'm not reviewing this show. And I'm only touching on this one topic because I just felt some type of way. Y'all know I'm part of the LGBT community. And there are certain things that you should not say if you are not part of that community. Just like if you're not black, the word nigga shouldn't come out your mouth. If you're not a part of the LGBT community, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, transsexual, pansexual, whatever other letters that there are to the LGBT community, because, we keep adding more and more. It's hard to keep up. You shouldn't say certain words, okay? I'm a lesbian, so I can say dyke. If a straight person say dyke, I'm going to be offended, okay? If a gay man say faggot, okay, that's fine with them because they're a gay man and they're taking the power out of that shit and using it for something else. But if a straight man said, in a way to be derogatory and to hurt, it's fucked up. And that stings, okay? Just like I said, you're not black, don't say nigga. Okay? Don't ask why you can't say it. Just know you can't say it. Okay? Technically speaking, we should say it, but just know we're not supposed to say it. You're not going to say it. Okay? And my whole thing is, what happened is, an episode ago, we had these two characters who are married, Tamika and Barry. They, their relationship, I don't know. On the show, they kind of say that they haven't had sex in months or whatever. I don't understand why, because they're two good-looking people. And, to be quite honest, looks don't have nothing to do with it. Maybe the chemistry is off. Maybe it's a lot of stress going on. Maybe, work stuff that's going on. You just never know what goes on in a relationship as to why a person is not, doing sex or whatever, because shit happens. You just don't know. Maybe they're just off a little bit and they're just working towards getting it. But that's not the point. So Tamika kind of rubbed me raw in a way that she was presenting a whole bunch of stuff to people and being all up in people's business. And I go look at her Twitter and she put up these posts about, do you think I was wrong for this? And do you think I was wrong for that? And I'm like, yes, bitch, you was wrong. It wasn't your place to call Justin out on his whole thing at Reagan's party, okay? It's a right time and a right place for stuff. That's one thing. She couldn't admit that she was wrong. She could barely apologize for it, but that's not the real thing that I wanted to talk about. She got in her feelings because John, the youngest boy on the cast, and he is a boy, because that's how he acts. He had a boys' night out with the rest of the male cast members on the show. And then he invited women, a whole bunch of women. The majority of the men that is on this cast, they're in relationships or they're married. So I felt it was disrespectful to bring all of them women there, okay? So I had no problem with Tamika busting in and saying, and it really wasn't Tamika's fault because Barry, her husband, as he should have, he texted her and said, all this shit is going on. that's one thing. So she gets in her feelings about that. John don't understand where she's coming from. And at one point I was like, okay, Tamika, just let it go. Just get your nigga and just go. But of course they blew it up into a big thing. And, you know, instead of just letting it go, she waits until the next time she sees John to want to, you know, talk to him about the whole thing. And it's at Reagan's, her friend's business meeting, business party, okay, for her, whatever line she was doing. It was business related. And so Reagan, the type of person that want everything to be all to the good and no drama to happen. And if I'm throwing a business situation, that's what I want too, okay? I don't want no drama. I don't want to throw no party where shit's going to just get fucked up and somebody's going to be leaving disappointed, uncomfortable, or, you know, insulted, on the fence and all that stuff. And that's exactly what happened. So John somehow is friends with Blame It on Quay. Okay, that's Quay who played TT on Instagram. That's where I first seen him. And now Quay and Lala Scissorhands. Lala, who's going to be on the new season of Claws. Congratulations to her. I don't know if it's going to be the whole season or a couple of episodes. Either way, it's a good look. Somehow they're cool, and somehow he was at the party too. Okay, and he brought him in and was... See, this is John fucked this up because he shouldn't have brought nobody else in this conversation that was going on between him and Tamika about the whole situation that happened with the boys' night out. Okay, that's where he fucked up at. But so I can't put that on Quay because Quay was brought in and he gave his opinion because he was asked. Okay, but then you can't tell a person how they're going to perceive or receive that of your opinion. And I can understand why Tamika kind of got in her feelings a little bit because to her, Quay is a stranger. Who are you? You're not even a part of this. You don't know exactly what happened. So whatever. Then, you know, they going back and forth. And I thought it was very bitch made of Quay to, you know, say some of the things that he said. But it wasn't enough to be warranted to call out of his name in a derogatory manner. I understand that when you're in a relationship, especially a loving one, you want to protect your husband, you want to protect your wife, you want to protect your girlfriend, your boyfriend, whoever it is. And therefore, if you see a situation go down and they seem like they're being attacked or somebody is coming for them unnecessarily or somebody is saying something out of line to them, you want to protect them, you want to stand up for them. Okay, and I get that. And like I said, I'm not taking up for Quay. Okay, I'm not taking up for Quay because he was out of pocket. And we can all agree on that. He was out of pocket. And, you know, at one point, it was like, I couldn't tell, was he kind of provoking him to Barry to do something? Because Barry was, you know, hey, don't talk to my wife like that. Don't talk to my wife like that. And at that moment in time, I feel like Barry should have just said that part and just let that shit go. This boy ain't no fucking threat. I don't know if it was the alcohol, bitch. I'm under the influence of alcohol right now, so who fucking knows? So maybe it was the alcohol, but I don't like that excuse. Oh, bitch, I was drunk, so that's why I did this. I wasn't in my right mind. No, that shit was in your mind, okay? And I'm only bringing this up because I hate when this shit happens. In the midst of this, Quay said, I want you to hit me so I can sue you boots. And I feel like as soon as he said that, that kind of clicked up in Barry's mind that this dude is kind of feminine or he may be gay or whatever. So you trying to get at me and you trying to, you know, say some stuff or whatever and provoke me. Let me hit at you by calling you a fucking faggot. And that's exactly what he did. And my whole thing is, if you have to go below the belt like that, when he didn't go below the belt like that, that's fucked up. And then for you to sit in the next episode to be mulling around and saying, man, this is not my character to say nothing like this, and you know, I didn't mean for that to come out, and people know I'm not homophobic and all this shit, and that may be the truth, but I can't stand when people use that as an excuse. That's not my character. I didn't mean to say it. I would never say it, but you did say it, and it did come from you. And obviously, you must have been thinking that. And I don't care if you was drunk. I don't care if you was under the influence of anything. Obviously, something in your life has been going on that you thought of that, okay? Because you used that more than once. If that never been on your brain before, it would have never came out right then and there. And let's be quite honest. You were not saying that shit, Barry, because he gave the excuse of, well, when I was growing up, you know how when it is when a boy call you a sissy and all this shit, you come back at him and call him a faggot or whatever because you're trying to hurt him or you're trying to make them embarrassed and stuff like that. So basically, you're saying what we already know, and the reason why these words are derogatory, they're meant to hurt. If I call you a sissy, I'm going to come back and I'm going to call you a faggot. Okay? Sissy, faggot, same thing. Emasculating the man or trying to emasculate them. That's what it is. Boy, man, whoever. Okay? It's not a good term. All right? And that example that you showed, it was not a good term. Okay? You're basically calling them less than. And that is what they use to gay men. They call them less than by calling them faggots because they date other men or they have sex with other men. Okay? Well, most of these gay men can beat the shit out your ass too. Okay? I'm just fucking saying. All right? So that excuse kind of was like null and void to me. I wasn't buying it. It was just another excuse to try to make him gain some sympathy or empathy for the reason why he did stuff and to, you know, get the public back on his side and be like, it was an accident. It's against my character. You know I wouldn't do that. But you did do it. Obviously, it was somewhere tucked down in your mind that if this alcohol or whatever you want to call it brought it back up because you thought it. And let's be quite honest. You were not just saying that shit because he was so-called attacking your wife. You said that because you saw how he looked. You saw his actions. You heard his word. You perceived him to be a little bit feminine, okay? Because there have always been questions about Quay's sexuality. And I don't understand why it doesn't matter, but it always been out there. And you just went on ahead and was the one that did that shit on camera and called him a faggot, okay? And that's what it is. Now you want to go on this apology tour on the next episode talking about, oh, I didn't mean this. This is not my character. But it is because you said it. You said it. And then what makes me more mad is because you know her cousin, your wife's cousin, is gay, who is very close to her. So if I know somebody is gay and I know I'm supposed to be cool with him, none of them words would ever came out of my mouth if I'm a straight person. Okay? I have never slipped up and called nobody nothing out of their name and took it back and say it was out of my character or whatever. Because once I say something, I meant that shit. I meant that shit, okay? So I just really wasn't here for that excuse. I'm tired of that excuse. And I know some people grow up in different ways and, you know, but that was when we were kids. And that's what some things that you can see, okay? But you are a grown-ass adult and you can know right from fucking wrong. And then when he had that sit-down with Gian, a girl who was his friend and was trying to be a business partner and, you know, a mentor to him, and she kind of had to step back from the situation because she didn't want that being, you know, look, you're judged by your association, and New Orleans is a small town, shit gets around, and so she just had to step back, and he was really shocked by it. He was shocked by it, and I said, nigga, how are you shocked by this when we've seen this happen before in the media with bigger people who are way bigger than you, who have slipped up and said some stupid shit that was on their minds and they just let it come out, and then they had to pay the consequences by losing business deals, okay, losing sponsorships, okay, getting booted off the shows and shit like that. You know, take for instance, Isaiah Washington, when he was on Grey's Anatomy, he called T.R. Knight a faggot, and he got booted off the show, and basically damn near got blacklisted because we only seen him on, you know, black, you know, shows that probably go straight to Netflix or straight to DVD, you know, and we never really seen him in nothing really big since, okay? So let's stop acting like we're dumbfounded at shit happening when we say stuff. Yes, this is the world of freedom of speech, because somebody gonna say, well, you know, you got freedom of speech. Yes, you do have freedom of speech, but that freedom of speech does not protect you from the consequences that may fall from it. Okay, may come from it. The consequences and actions that may come from it, okay? Which means you want to go out there and use a slur, whether you meant it or not. You need to think before you do stuff because it can cost you your business. You are on national TV, and I don't give a damn how many people are watching. It can be 5 people watching this show, and it can be that one person that could have thought, man, this is a good show. I like that character right there. I see what he's doing. He's into fitness, and I can work with him to build some stuff up. And then all of a sudden, this part come up, and you say that word, and the old girl said you said it more than 3 times. You said it like 3 times. So, you knew what you was doing. You was trying to hurt the dude. They can back the fuck away and say, no, I don't want to work with this person because he's problematic. Because who's to say if he gets drunk again and somebody else come at him, or he thinks somebody coming at his wife, he might not use that word again, or he might go further. You know, you just don't want people to have those thoughts about you. And so basically, my whole point of this video is I'm tired of the excuses. Oh, it's from what I grew up with. Oh, it's this. Okay, but you're not young no more like that. You're a grown-ass adult, and you know right from wrong. You see the stuff that's been happening in this world. You have people in your family, in your circle, who are of that orientation, and you still use the word as a meaning in a way to hurt and to emasculate, okay? No, stop it. Can we think before we do stuff, and can we stop just blaming it on outside factors and all this stuff? Because that's not always the case, all right? You have to grow up and you have to take responsibility. And for the most part, I have to commend him. He did. He did take responsibility, but I just wanted to put this out here for other people who do this shit because it's a current thing and I'm tired of it. And then once you go and say, oh, it's out of my character, you know I would never do that and woo woo woo. And then all of a sudden everybody's like, oh, all is forgiven. I'm not that bitch, okay? Once you say something derogatory like that, bitch, fuck you. Okay, that's just how I feel. But I'm not gonna go that deep and say fuck him. But I'm just gonna step away a little bit. I don't know these people, but you know, at first I did like the couple on there. And she, Tamika tried to get up in her feelings when Gianna tried to say something about it. And I was like, Gianna was right, okay? Bitch, it should never been said. That's point blank, period. And now Barry understands that. I hope he truly understands that and not just saying that for show. And learn from it, okay? And don't ever let it happen again. We live in a society where in 2018 people are still being judged because of their sexual preference. And no, it's not a person being sensitive over the topic. It's something that still goes on. So therefore, I take matters and stuff like this seriously. Okay, this is something that should be taken seriously because it's still happening. And it's unfortunate that people are still using certain words to degrade people or to, incite them in a negative way and try to make them feel less than, okay? Because they couldn't use any other words. That was the only word that you could think of to come up with to hurt some motherfucker. You could have called that bitch a cunt. You could have called him a bitch. You could have called him a pussy. That all probably would have meant the same goddamn thing, that he was doing some foul-ass, weak-ass bitch shit, okay? You ain't have to use the F word. You ain't have to call him a faggot, all right? Because then that just make your argument null and void, and we stop focusing on the fact that he was being messy as fuck, okay? And we start focusing on the fact that you said this one particular word. You fucked it up. All right? Learn from this. And let's just have a conversation, because I know in different areas, especially down in the South, they use that to hurt people. Like, just put your experiences down there. Did you grow up in a homophobic atmosphere? Do you get what I'm saying? No, I'm not putting a lot on this. I'm just, addressing stuff. Because it's just been on my mind. So if I don't get it out, it's going to just sit there until I get it out. And that's why I'm doing this video. But, yeah, if you understand where I'm coming from, let's comment. Let's have a discussion. If you've seen the show, you don't even have to see the show. Just what's your thought on using that word, and, how people react to it. All right? And I'll see y'all later. Peace.